Hi, and welcome to my pioneer presentation of Sigmund Freud, who was a pioneer in the educational psychology realm. My name is Alexis Dunaway. I am in the MAT program at UAM for the 2024-2025 school year. This presentation is done for Dr. Jeffery Longing. And some of the theories I'm going to be talking about of Freud's will be the role of the unconscious processes and defense mechanisms. So, first off, early life of Sigmund Freud. He was born on May the 6th, 1856, in what is now called the Czech Republic. Sigmund Freud was a son of Jacob Freud, who was a wool merchant, and Amalia and Nathan Slom. The family moved to Vienna when Freud was 4, and he showed very high academic promises from an early age. He was very smart. Freud's childhood marked by an emotional tension with his father and his emotional attachment to his mother. Particularly, his rivalry with his father and his attachment to his mother played a significant role in shaping his later theories. His experiences of guilt, repression, and internal conflict influenced his ideas about the unconscious mind, the impact of early childhood on personality development, and the nature of psychological struggles. These theories and personal challenges helped lay the foundation for his groundbreaking theories on the unconscious and dynamic of repressing personal and internal desires. So, his early and personal life. He studied medicine at the University of Vienna from 1873 to 1881, and he worked at Vienna General Hospital before he began his private practice in neuropsychiatry in 1886. That same year, he married Martha, whom they had 6 children with. Freud's personal life, particularly his family dynamics and his complex relationships with his wife and children, had a profound impact on his professional work. His sense of rivalry with his father, his close attachment with his mother, and his experiences of fatherhood likely influenced his theories on the development of personality, the unconscious mind, and internal conflict. His own family life and psychological struggles contributed to his understanding of human behavior and the ways in which early relationships shape adult psychology. Next is his career as an educational psychologist. So, in the 1890s, Sigmund Freud developed psychoanalysis, which was a groundbreaking approach to understanding the mind, and he published The Interpretation of Dreams in 1900, where he introduced a revolutionary concept such as the unconscious, the Oedipus complex, and the defense mechanisms. Freud's theories challenged existing views that were already out there on human behavior by emphasizing the role of unconscious drives and early childhood experiences in shaping adult personality rather than the predisposed ideas from psychologists that were solely focused on a conscious thought and learned behavior, as was this common in the scientific traditions at that time. So his ideas also questioned the prevailing belief that the rationality of human behavior, and arguing instead that much of our actions are influenced by repressed desires and inner conflicts and unresolved psychological tensions with ourselves. His work taught at the University of Vienna profoundly shifted the landscape of psychology, promoting a reevaluation of human learning, motivation, and mental illness. So there were a few who influenced Freud's work. Jean-Martin Charcot, Joseph Breuer, and William Wundt were key figures whose work contributed to Freud's development of psychoanalysis. Charcot's studies of hysteria and hypnosis demonstrated the power of the unconscious mind in influencing physical and psychological symptoms, which deeply influence Freud's understanding of repressed thoughts and the role of the unconscious process. Breuer collaborated with Freud on the study of hysteria, particularly the use through the talking cure, which became a fundamental element of the psychoanalytic treatment. Meanwhile, William Wundt was considered the father of experimental psychology. He emphasized the importance of using scientific methods in studying the mind, a perspective that helped Freud approach psychological phenomena with a more systematic and clinical approach. Together, these pioneers provided critical insights and methodologies that shaped Freud's theories on the unconscious and the nature of psychological disorders and the therapeutic techniques he later developed in his psychoanalyses. Next up would be Freud's later life. Okay, so in his later years, Freud faced significant challenges, including Nazi persecution, in which forced him to flee Vienna for London in 1938. He also struggled with health issues, particularly cancer, which affected him it affected him physically and emotionally. His well-being, he had many different hardships with his health. Despite these hardships, Freud continued to believe that his theories, but the political instability and his declining health made it increasingly difficult. He died on September 23, 1939, in London, just as World War II was at the very beginning. These challenges highlighted Freud's resilience, and as a psychologist, he has always remained committed to his work throughout whatever obstacles have been thrown at him. So we have Freud's influence on the current teaching practices. Even though Freud passed away at the brink of World War II, his ideologies and different ideas in psychoanalysis and different ways that he has come about things, they are still taught and still remembered today in 2024. So Freud's theories emphasized the importance of early childhood experiences and highlighted the role of unconscious processes in learning, shaping how individuals develop and respond to the world. He also introduced the concept of the defense mechanisms, which explain how people unconsciously protect themselves from emotional distress. So like a fight or flight response or an immediate reaction to something that is uncomfortable. We can now see how look deeper into these students and the way that they respond immediately and their defense mechanisms to things. So for teachers, understanding Freud's theories is really crucial because it provides an insight into emotional and psychological factors that can affect a student's behavior, learning, and their development. So by recognizing the impact of the early experiences, teachers can create a more supportive and empathetic classroom environment. Freud's concepts, such as the role of unconscious and defense mechanisms, can help teachers better understand students' reactions and help them identify underlying issues that may affect their performance in class. And so then the teachers can tailor their methods to address emotional and psychological needs and foster a more holistic approach to education. By using all of this and using it in the classroom, teachers can take a step back and understand what a defense mechanism is. They can understand that there are things in a child's life that shape them to be and act the way that they do. And teachers can use that to their benefit to try to also create that sense of belonging in their classroom. Sigmund Freud had a huge impact on the teaching practices now that we don't even think about as being Sigmund Freud's teaching practices. We just think of creating a sense of belonging, understanding your students, understanding the way that they react to things, giving them time, or classroom management, such as giving brain breaks and things like that. We can look at the way that a student behaves. We can try to break it down as best as we can, and we can help them learn as best as we can by looking at those experiences, by seeing what their defense mechanisms are, and by changing that and giving and changing our teaching methods, but also changing our heart and being able to understand that not every kid is going to have the same response as the other. And so I feel like that this pioneer, Sigmund Freud, did a great job, and I'm sympathetic for what he went through in his life, but I'm also glad that he did, so that we can understand what is going on in our kids' minds and how to help them and how to tailor that to the way that we teach them every day in class. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you've learned a little bit about Sigmund Freud and his life, and I hope that you can take this and apply it to your classroom. Thank you.